Hello everybody, Chris here again with C2 Wrestling, and today we are doing a review of the Raw after WrestleMania. So let's get started. So, the show starts off with the Commissioner, Stephanie McMahon, coming to the ring, being humbled about her match last night. She has a brace on her arm that was in the armbar from Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey comes out. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna be friends, whatever." Rousey puts her in another armbar, and that's what happens with that. So it was entertaining. It was funny, and I probably see that feud continuing until at least SummerSlam. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I kind of see that happening there. The first match of the night ended up being a women's division tag team match with the new Raw Women's Champion Nia Jax with a debuting Ember Moon from NXT. If you guys watched my predictions from TakeOver, I said Ember Moon was going to go main roster, and she did. So hey, there we go. The tag team match ended up being up against the former champion Alexa Bliss and her best friend Mickie James. Obviously, or more than likely, not more likely, Ember Moon, Nia Jax ended up winning for the debut match. So hopefully we get to see some just more involvement with different competitors in the women's division, because we kind of see the same thing going, because we'll get to that later. The next match ended up being, actually, before the next match, we go backstage to Kurt Angle's office, to where Braun Strowman and Nicholas, who won the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, relinquished the titles because Nicholas is in for the 4th grade, so he can't compete. So, relinquished his titles, setting up a tournament for the Greatest Royal Rumble at the end of the month thing. I don't know. I don't think it's a pay-per-view. I think it's just like a live event that they're doing in Saudi Arabia. To where the Bar have the rematch against another team. We'll get to that in a little bit. So that's backstage. So when we come back for commercial, we have our debuting match of No Way Jose from NXT with some local talent. So No Way Jose he just dances pretty much. But he's entertaining, so hopefully we continue to see some entertainment and they don't squash him relatively quickly. So when we come back from commercial, we're already in the match for the first tag team eliminator match. That's what Kurt Angle decided to call it. But we're in the match, and it's Gallows and Anderson versus the Revival. The Revival win. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of quick, the match. The Revival set the Revival up to face somebody else. They're gonna next week's match, because I can't talk. There's one more match later tonight, and so we'll get to that match later. So after that match, we go to commercial. We come back. We have Seth Rollins. So after we come back from commercial, we have Seth Rollins comes out. He's the new Intercontinental Champion. If you guys missed WrestleMania, which you shouldn't have because it was free for everybody who was a new subscriber. Not putting that plug in on purpose. It's just whatever. He's cutting a promo, being Grand Slam champion, all that stuff. Finn Balor comes and interrupts him. It's like, hey, I want to face you for the title because you're that good. And that's going to be a good match. Those two guys always put on good matches. The Miz and Miz Ross come out, interrupt them, like, well, we're going to fight, or we're going to have a match. And the Miz is like, well, I'm going to enact my rematch clause at Backlash, which I think's next month, the beginning of next month. I don't know the tentative date right now. I'll let you know. You guys know that probably tomorrow. So we have that. So it's like 3-on-2, and then we get a returning Jeff Hardy, not Brother Nero, just Jeff Hardy, and Team Extreme, like the Team Extreme music, whatever, the classic Hardy music, come out, even the odds, and then we get that's the main event, is it being the six-man tag team match between the Miz Taraj, Balor, Rollins, and Hardy. So we get that. So we come back from commercial break, and it's a match between Sasha Banks and Mandy Rose, with Absolution obviously ringside. Bayley comes down from ringside. Absolution and Bayley get involved right at the end. Bayley ends up, I think they knocking her in the arm, not punching her in the face, but hitting her in the face with her arm, to where Mandy Rose gets the roll up, wins the match. Paige is in the ring, has to announce her in-ring retirement from in-ring competition because of her neck injury. Yes, it's sad. and the only bad thing is everybody's going to be like, well, Daniel Bryan did it. Paige can do it too. Right now, Daniel Bryan retired because of concussions in his head, not his neck. So yes, it would be nice to see Paige return in 2 years, but it's a neck injury, so it's very unlikely for her to return. But that later, I have to wait and see for that. So that's that. You know, like that we go commercial. We come back. We have Elias in the ring, being Elias. Then he gets interrupted by a returning Bobby Lashley, which I don't keep up with TNA anymore because it's just a bad product. Or not bad. It's just not entertaining anymore. So I didn't realize that Bobby Lashley was released from his contract. So this signing was a big surprise for me, and everybody, of course, being right after WrestleMania, it's fitting. So we have that. We go backstage to Kurt Angle's on the phone. He's always on the phone. He's never doing anything else. To where Kevin Owens, the same as Zayn, come in like, can we have a job? Can we have a job? So he sets up a match between the two of them. Whoever wins that match gets to have the last Raw spot on the roster. I didn't put it in my notes, but we did have a bunch of promos for next week. Starts the Superstar Shakeup for this year. Starting on Raw and on SmackDown Live. So we will see talent moving around. So who knows what happens going to happen next week. So that's what happens with that. So we come back from commercial with Heath Slater and Rhino already in the ring, upset that they're not in the tag team eliminator match. Like, we want some competition, blah 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 blah. I got a bunch of kids. Heath Slater's normal stuff right now. To where we have a debuting Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering. It's a squash match. The biggest thing to take away from that is that that AOP could be ending their alliance with Paul Ellering, which, well, obviously we have to wait and see what's going to happen, but it's kind of weird. Like, I don't think AOP has ever cut a promo. I think it's always been Paul Ellering. So I'm going to go back to figure out, make sure that's correct. I don't remember. So that's that. We come back from commercial with Roman Reigns and a multitude of boos and cheers and yada yada yada. It's a big jumbled mess right now. But he's all sad and upset that he got beat by Brock Lesnar, and that Brock Lesnar got re-signed because everybody's like, oh, he's going to UFC. Because earlier today it was announced that Brock Lesnar re-signed with WWE. Whatever. I think though, like, obviously it worked because last night you had Dana White there. He was obviously supporting Ronda Rousey because of her debut match, but it was just for pure publicity, I feel like. But so we have he's upset, whatever, with Lesnar. He's like, I'm gonna beat him finally. Which at that point we get a returning Samoa Joe. Which Joe's been out with, I think, like an ankle injury or maybe a foot injury, something like that. He cuts a crazy good promo, saying that like Roman needs to get over himself because nobody likes him anymore. He's lying to himself. He's lying to everybody. Blah 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 blah. So when because there's a steel cage match at the Greatest World Rumble live event thing, whatever you call it, for the Universal Championship between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So Joe's like, when you get beat, I'm going to beat you at Backlash again. I'm going to put you to sleep. So we have some kind of match with those two guys at Backlash. More than likely, they haven't announced it officially, but I would expect to see that happening very soon. Also, too, on the World's Greatest Royal Rumble, there's a ladder match between, who was it? It was Rollins, Balor, The Miz, Joe, and I think Jeff Hardy. I don't remember. I thought it's either 4 or 5 guys. I don't remember specifically. So we have that. So Joe will be at that thing too. So after that, we come back from commercial. We have the second tag team eliminator match with Titus Worldwide, with a woken Matt Hardy and a reborn Bray Wyatt, and some kind of tag team right now. Bray Wyatt and Hardy and Wyatt ended up winning. It was very interesting. It was just weird to kind of see Bray Wyatt as like the follower, not like the leader, but the follower thing. but the crowd was behind it, so it was good. It was nice to see that. And I'm gonna guess we're gonna see Broken Matt Hardy and not Broken. I'm sorry, Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt won the next week to be in the tag team tournament. Not tournament, but the tag team championship match between the Bar. Probably gonna win those titles. We're gonna say that now. Probably gonna win those titles. Set up a very nice run for those two. It's gonna be entertaining. None just to say that. So we come back and it's the match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Whoever wins gets to have gets to have a job on Raw, and the other one whatever. But they ended up in a no contest. They both right out of the gate hit each other with their finishers and just best friends trying to I gotta have a job, but best friends, like that type of stuff. So it was a good match. The finish was kind of weird. So I kind of see those two hopping around both shows at least till next week, if not a little bit longer. Maybe at Backlash. Who knows? Because Backlash with Backlash, this is going to be the first pay-per-view since the brand split that's going to be co-branded. If you guys remember, before this WrestleMania, they had the brand exclusive pay-per-views, and now we don't have that. We have co-branded pay-per-views starting with Backlash. So we'll see that happening, probably more than likely. So that's that. Before we cut to commercial, we have the faces walking backstage, running into Woken Matt Hardy. So Jeff's like, "Hey, I tried calling you," or whatever, and being involved in the Woken universe, not completely being Brother Nero per se, a little bit per se, but not full Brother Nero, like with the matching jacket thing or whatever. Hugging Bray Wyatt, which the crowd liked it, and it wasn't super duper weird, but the crowd liked it, so I guess that was good. And so we have that. We come back to the main event, which we ended up seeing the faces win. The most entertaining part was actually after the match when all three of those guys ended up, not the Miz, but for the Miztourage, they ended up getting hit with the coup de grace, hit it with the swanton, and then getting stomped. And so that was the most entertaining part of that match. So, yeah. So, and that was the Raw review. Not a bad Raw after WrestleMania. They set the card. It wasn't super loaded up front. It was a good paced show. So hopefully we'll get to see some more of that for Raw. Very good. Hopefully. And so. Well, I'll wait for SmackDown, see what happens on SmackDown tomorrow. But, there's that. If you guys enjoyed the video, guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn notifications on. If you'd like to follow me on social media, those links are down in the description below. And I will catch you guys next time.